Hey, Gabriel Blake,
Hey, Gabriel Jose.
where are we today?
We're in the same spot as the last 6 weeks, sheltering at home.
Probably for 6 more weeks.
Ugh.
Quarantine, the gift that keeps on giving.
Stay at home to save lives.
Yeah, man, but yeah, it's right. It's the right thing to do. I miss my diverse, but it's like it's the right thing to do. So this time we watch Memories of Murder.
We sure did. You sure like to pick movies that are more than 2 hours long.
I think that it was only, oh no, it was 2 hours and 12 minutes. That's true. But I rather watch 2 hours and 12 minutes of this than Headhunters, to be fair. And that was short. I will give you that. It was 90 minutes, but I prefer this. So the reason why I picked, because this was my pick, and the reason why I picked this one is because after Parasite became like really, really popular, uh, the Criterion Collection confirmed that they're going to be like doing a Criterion edition for Parasite and also Memories of Murder. I realized that that was probably one of the few Bong Joon-Ho movies that I haven't watched. So I wanted to just
Wow.
catch up with my gay bro.
Oh. Well, it was certainly hard to find, that's for sure. As far as we understand it, there's no way to stream for free or pay to rent streaming Memories of a Murder, at least in North America or the States. So we won't talk about how we got it.
Exactly. Please just leave it like to as an exercise to the listener. To the listener, it's like just imagine what happened here. Okay, so that was my pick. So I think that you should go first.
Um, so, brief synopsis: it takes place in rural South Korea,
Hmm.
and there's a couple uh, rape slash murders that seem to fit a pattern. And a big town cop, somebody from Seoul, comes to help out the bumbling hick policemen in the rural town that are clearly unprepared to handle a serial killer. Um, and they torture everyone they think that they can convince into confessing. These rural police are like psychopathic. They're it's insane, and we'll talk
Yeah.
about that more when we talk about whether I like the film or not. Um, so yeah, it's about the hunt for this serial killer. And go ahead. It takes place in the 80s, by the way, which is important.
Yeah. So did you know about this case? Because this was supposed to be the first serial killer in Korea. Because this is based on real facts or real events.
Yes. So I didn't know the case. I Googled him
Hmm.
well, actually, I was reading about the film itself, and I realized it was inspired by true events. So did you know that they caught the guy in 2019?
Like, yeah, last year. Yeah.
Last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
So this,
crazy. Did you
go ahead.
know if he's the same guy that they suspected in the movie Alien?
I don't know that. I don't think that they had a suspect back when it happened.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, it felt like part of it. I mean, like probably half of it was completely a dramatization about to make it more interested or trying to be a bit more like, ooh, we're almost there, almost like Zodiac. But
And so just spoiler alert, this movie came out 18 years ago, so you should have seen it by now. What?
I don't think that the release date is a spoiler, but okay.
No, I'm just saying they had 18 years to see the movie. You
Yeah.
five people who will listen to this. So at the end, they ultimately don't find the serial killer, which I found exasperating and refreshing.
Okay.
Just exasperating because we all want resolution, right? Not it didn't
Yeah.
make the film less good. I thought it was fantastic the way it ended, and the
Yeah.
way that final scene where he talks to the little girl
Yeah.
was really nice.
I love that scene. And I have to say that there are not so many movies that they leave things so open. They don't dare to do that because they expect that actually the people are going to be feeling about the payoff has to be at the end. Is
You
like, for
know who did
example,
that very well? Ingmar
oh,
Bergman.
with what?
He didn't bother to resolve shit in his movies. He's like, I asked a bunch of questions. You don't need answers. I'm out.
That's true. I mean, Winterlight, certainly they have like a proper resolution. It was more like, well, that happened. Life continues.
So what were you going to say before I cut you off?
No, that was it. That was it. So, what do you think of the movie?
So overall, A for effort.
What kind of effort?
No, overall, I liked the movie. I did. I thought it was really well done. You could see like the brilliance of his direction. Like, I even liked this movie more than I liked Parasite. I wasn't the biggest fan of Parasite. Um,
You
sorry,
had to
ask your
tell me.
questions.
I have to ask you. It's like I know that I asked you this multiple times, but it's like, what did you have against the movie? It's like, what does the movie has that doesn't work for you?
I think that movie was smarter than I am, to be honest. I saw it. It was fine. I don't get what the big deal was.
Look,
I
he
just don't.
won. He won an Oscar and he won the Palme d'Or.
Four Oscar. Four
Yeah,
Oscars
but it
alone.
was like the best movie award at the Oscars. It cannot be smarter than you. Let's
Fair
be
point.
fair here. It's true. He won the Palme d'Or with the Palme d'Or that you never know, but this won Best Movie Award. Is that is not an indication that it's going to be smarter than you.
I mean, it's right up there with Crash. So it.
And Argo, yeah.
So I found the hunt for the serial killer compelling. I liked a lot. I liked the character development of every character except the main characters that they didn't bother to do shit with.
Wait. Which ones? Like the guy from Soul and the
Yeah,
main director. Sorry, the main detective.
the two main detectives and the detective from Soul.
Huh. Okay,
Like,
that's interesting.
what did they tell us about their lives, about why they act the way they act, who they are as people? They don't. They don't tell anything.
Don't you feel like the main guy? And I know that this is a trope from film noir, but like basically the main detective is a guy that is burned by his job. He's basically just going through it, and the wife, well, the romantic interest, the nurse, is telling him, "It's like, why don't you stop doing that? It's like this is not making you happy." And that's the reason why he's so violent. Why he's like, "Look, they just close this as fast as possible." But then the other guy from Soul, it comes from the other side. That is like, well, my work is I use logic and everything gets solved. It's like pretty easy. So I'm going to be like just using all my principles or more morality, and I'm going to be like saying, like, you cannot do that. I'm going to be like doing this. And there is actually a bit of a counter progression of the guy from the rural South Korea, like just becoming a bit more principle based, and the guy from Seoul said, like, look, I want to kill this guy. I don't believe this guy. I want to close this. What is happening here is wrong. And I'm going to be using my principles in the way that is more violent possible. That is what the guy was doing. The other guy, the guy from the rural
I see your
South
point.
Korea.
There was nothing in that movie that made me care about any of the main characters at all. Like, I would have liked to know
Oh,
more about that guy that came from Seoul who seemed to be a little tortured, but they didn't bother to talk about anything. He just like appeared. Um,
that's true.
Also, there's comedy in this film.
There is always comedy in the Bong Joon-ho, and that's one of the things that I wanted to check with you about how you feel, because this is one of his styles. I don't think that I've seen any. Would you qualify this as a film noir,
No, I would qualify this as a
a thriller?
psychological thriller.
Have you ever seen a psychological thriller with so many flying kicks?
Well, let's talk about that. That was the biggest fail of this movie. The way those two acted the characters, I was like, either the culture in South Korea is completely ununderstandable to me, or this is so over the top that I can't take this seriously at all. The
That's
comedy was so inappropriate that every time that they had something where there was a flying kick or something they did that was crazy or get drunk and threaten to kill each other, I was like, this is Headhunters.
what?
I'm
No, you
sorry.
didn't.
The same way that
No, you
director tried
didn't.
to have like a dark thriller and put in this completely inappropriate and bad comedy, it was the same. I kept thinking this whole
Well,
time, like,
let me
this
let me
movie
just
would
tell
be
you
great if
something.
they took those two characters, the two main characters, out.
So let me just tell you something. It's like I understand that you don't like Parasite too much and you like this a bit more, but it's that both of them they actually share that idea of a stupid comedy. It's a drama and suddenly you have like this absurd comedy. That in this case, like someone coming out of frame with a flying kick. That is like why? What is deciding? Is there some kind of, maybe people in South Korea do that. Maybe they are all as swift as being able to just, I don't know, like fly kick everyone. I don't know. But it's like for me, something that, I have, it's something like Parasite. I have to just understand these two things as completely opposite to each other. And that's the reason why it's even more enjoyable. But I understand that it's not for everyone. When I understand it, when I look at them in isolation, it's like, this makes no sense. It's like, why are you adding this? But as when I see the contrast with the serious aspects of it, it's like, wow, this is even more shocking when you're doing it. I have to give you a bit more of, le- I say, like leverage, for this. I had to be a bit more permissive with this, but I understand that it works for me, but it doesn't have to work for everyone.
So in Zodiac, if Jake Gyllenhaal were to just randomly like do flying kicks to people and then they show the corpses of these people that were tortured and murdered, do you feel that would have, oh, the contrast is so interesting? Or was Zodiac a good movie because it took the subject matter and then took an appropriate atmosphere and tone to things and made it
Look,
something super compelling?
I think that it works better in Parasite because most of the comedy is at the beginning, and it starts like just building up towards being more disturbing. And here there are still like parts that are like, look, this is a bit too comedy for the point that we are in. Like for example, when they are chasing down the kid, the first one, the one that
The
has like the
retarded
scars.
kid?
Sure, the mentally challenged kid.
That is not what they called him in the movie, and that's why I
I
used that
know,
word.
I
And
know
also,
that
it
you
was
did.
so fucking sexist, that movie. So sexist.
I think that may be a bit more like the society in the 80s in South Korea in late 80s. But okay. So when they're like chasing him down, when they discover that, hey, he was a witness of the situation, and there are like several scenes when they start like fighting in the bar, the other guy like ran away after just hitting the other policeman with a stick with a nail, and the guy just start like running away, and then basically he just gets run over by a train. There was a part of me is like, you see it coming, and that you see like you're shooting this, you're shooting this as if it was a dark comedy, but
But it
but it's
just,
not.
it
It's
feels to me
not
all
supposed to be.
so inappropriate. And that's why I wondered, what am I missing culturally? Because in any, I don't know, what you would call first world country, those two would never, ever, ever be allowed to be policemen. They were torturing people and convincing them to confess, like literal torture. They got
But
people killed.
but you also see that people on the streets are complaining partially because of that.
Right, but I'm saying for me that I was like, okay, this isn't supposed to be realistic. It's absurdity. So is this an absurd comedy, or am I supposed to feel the horror of this man committing these atrocities?
I would tell you that, for example, Mother plays similar to I mean, not necessarily similar. It's a movie that is a bit of a later time. It's in the 2000s. It's set on the 2000s too, but they play also with the police. It's a thriller. It's also like they have the reenactment scene, as this one has towards the beginning, but it doesn't use comedy as much. So I think that maybe towards the beginning of his career, he was abusing a bit more of the comedy in the wrong kind of points. But there is a part of me that is like, I'm fine with that kind of comedy because at least the part that is supposed to be a thriller and build up, it works for me. And the comedy, when it's placed as a contrast of that very tense atmosphere, is like it actually makes everything more absurd.
Let me ask you this: are you a fan of Sam Raimi?
I mean, I love the usual suspects.
Wait, I may I may have said
Oh,
that
San
wrong.
Remi, sorry, San Remi, no, Evil Death. Yeah, yeah, yeah. San Remi's Evil
Evil
Death.
Dead and like that Into Hell,
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
it's
Yeah, I
just
like I like the Evil Death
comedy and
trilogy.
horror.
Yeah, I like that.
So maybe
It's
this
Brian
just isn't.
Singer. Yeah, sorry. I was thinking about Brian Singer. So,
I was
sorry.
like,
Yeah,
I was almost embarrassed, but then it's you who got embarrassed.
totally embarrassed.
Yeah. So that just didn't work for me. I really didn't like the main characters. I didn't feel like they fit. I didn't like that sort of slapstick humor, and it felt to me slapstick.
I mean, it's a physical humor. It's a visual physical humor, and I would tell you is that for me it was a bit more like what the fuck is going on, but I would be enjoying it. I wouldn't be like just looking forward to the next flying kick that will happen on the screen. But when they happen, it was like so out of the blue, and it was not abusing. It was not like one of these how do you say, like these movies of the guy with the white hair. Uh, Spy
Mr.
Hard.
Magoo.
No, the guy Spy Hard. Spy Hard. Do you remember those movies?
No.
Okay, let me just check it out. So they're not like a parody of thriller movies. Leslie Nielsen, the Leslie Nielsen movies.
Liam Neeson? Leslie
No,
Nielsen?
Leslie
Oh,
Nielsen,
the Purple Panther or whatever.
Pink Panther.
That's the one.
Holy shit, you're such a millennial.
I didn't watch any of those, but yes, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, and
He
I'm
was
talking
Mr. Magoo.
sure, but I was talking about Spy Hard. There were like three movies of those, two or three movies.
You're a lot older than me, like a lot. So
I know.
there
Nah.
were
Yep.
there
I
were
could even
pieces of
have
pop
kids
culture
at
that
my
I don't.
age. Yep.
Um,
You could almost be my
so
kid. Yeah.
that's not that's not even close to being true. You're basically a millennial.
I'm not. I'm not. I grew up in the 80s. I'm sorry, man.
79 or 80.
80. But come
Mm,
on, Spy Hard came out in 96. I was 16 years old.
I was 12.
You could
You were
remember it.
already jerking off. I wasn't. I mean, it's very different.
You were that one. Okay, sure. We don't have to go there. So, what are you going to
Let
say?
me get back to the movie.
Yeah, please.
So I've driven this point home. I didn't like the comedy, but I want to be super clear. This comedy is what 10 to 15% of the film.
Yeah,
Um, the rest, I was very compelled by the film. I liked the direction. I liked the styles of the shots, the
yeah,
cuts that he did. It was
yeah,
all really, really, really nice, and I did feel like it didn't feel like 2 hours and 12 minutes in the slightest.
yeah.
And like I said, I understood this movie more than I understood Parasite, and I liked it. And also, I love serial killers, so I may be biased.
What I was watching when I was half through it is like, holy shit, I have a feeling that he's going to like it
I was
because
like,
of the
if I
topic.
had known it was about this, I wouldn't have waited 3 days to watch it. Okay, but you tell me
So,
what you thought of it.
so I really like it. I think that it's like there is still like this dichotomy, as we were discussing a moment ago, between like the comedy and a very serious topic. That is, I don't know, like a serial killer in rural South Korea on the loose. But I love how bold it is for not having any kind of resolution.
Yep,
They
I
could leave
agree.
it, and the thing is that they don't try to leave it in a bit more of a gray area about like, well, is this guy the guilty guy or not? Something that Zodiac does, because Zodiac lives in a, well, this guy could pretty easily be guilty, but in this case, what is so is that look, we have the papers. This person is not the person that killed those people. Is not. That's it.
But to be fair, Zodiac was just trying to recreate
I
what
know.
actually happened. This is just
I
has a whole bunch of license.
don't you think that Zodiac also have the licenses? I mean, you know
What
better
I'm
than
saying
me
is
about this.
it's more realistic. The guy in that film that they're like, it was probably this guy. It probably was that guy. The creepy phone calls did stop right at his death. I mean, that's all actual stuff that happened.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah, I forgot
So
about
it's not
that.
that the film felt like they needed to resolve anything. They're just saying this is what happened in the 80s and 90s.
Okay. I mean, I still feel, in this case too, is like probably they actually had this suspect. I didn't read too much about it, but they probably they had like this last suspect, and they felt like probably it was him, but they could never prove it. And then they had like this DNA result, and they felt like it makes no sense. It's actually just it's impossible. Like everything points that this person should be the culprit, you know. But I think that everything was solved like amazingly well from a cinematography perspective. It's amazing.
The shots were incredible, like
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah. I mean, I have a feeling that it's a very South Korean thing. I want to find like more directors from South Korea, but it's a director from Burning, this director Bong Joon-Ho and Kim Ki-duk.
I love Burning.
I know you do. We all have the right to be wrong about something. Uh, but I have the feeling that, like, from a cinematography perspective, they're amazing. Is that
Yeah,
this
they're good.
everything is like, like top notch. It almost feels like every shot is just pretty thoughtful. It's not about like just randomly, just put the camera whatever you want. It will
Yeah,
work.
you can tell he's the sort of director that cares about every single shot. He actually reminds me, not in style, but in the amount of care he puts into his shots. He reminds me of Ang Lee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad. Okay.
Like Eat, Drink, Man, Woman, you can see the like virtuosity of the shots in Eat, Drink, Man, Woman as you can in this movie.
Okay. No, that's fair. Yeah. So I like it quite a bit, especially when we come to from watching another. So
Okay.
out of the four movies, the last four movies that we watched, three of them were thrillers. No? So Burning, even Quinte Cantará, you can even like consider it a bit of a thriller, but it doesn't have like too much violence. It's a bit more of a drama. Headhunters, A Memory of Murder, those three are actually thrillers. And I would say, like, especially watching it back to back from Headhunters is like, this is a complete different genre. And it's true, like, I agree with you that they use comedy from time to time in places that they are not the best, but they use it like a burst, a bit more like, okay, I'm going to be like just putting you off for a
But
moment, like
it's
just,
not just that it's comedy, it's that it's comedy I don't think is funny, and it's
okay,
not realistic. It's not realistic at all, and that took me out of the realism of the rest of it.
okay, sure. But I think that it's a bit more of just throwing you off your feet, like just keeping you a bit more like unbalanced while you're watching the movie. At least is how it worked for me. A bit more like, where is this coming from? And there's like immediately they go back to something serious, and I need to adapt back to that. So, but there are like so many scenes when we're talking about like how, I mean, I say like masterfully shot it was. Did you like the scene with that girl that is carrying the umbrella for her husband? How she's like just walking through that corn field towards the
Oh
fabric,
yeah.
to the factory. And it's like that, those last like 10 photographs when you can see like the guy coming from the field, like running towards her. I found like, holy shit, that was scary. That was actually disturbing.
And that's when the film worked the most, when it built on that sense of menace
Yeah.
and like thrill. We're using that word a lot, but that's what it is. That's why I was like, this is where he really shines. If he were to just do a straightforward, serious thriller, I think it would be mind blowing. Like if he did L.
I don't think that Bong Joon-Ho could do a movie about a woman that enjoys being raped. But okay.
Spoiler alert. But no, I worry that I've come across as not liking the film. I liked the film. Like I'm enthusiastic about the film.
Would you recommend this film?
Yeah, yeah, without a doubt. And I don't know why, but I would not recommend Parasite.
I okay.
And I would recommend this film. I'd be like, yeah, check this out. Awesome serial killer movie.
I mean, I would say maybe it's because you also relate a bit more, and I'm not saying that you're a serial killer, but you relate a bit more to the topic of serial killers. But in the case of Parasite, what I would say that this movie does, I mean, I don't know if it's a bit better or not, but I have a feeling that it becomes a bit more serious along the way that it progresses. And Parasite, I think that it still has like some crazy stuff until towards the end, until the last five scenes, basically. Like, for example, this is going to be a Parasite spoiler, but whatever. When they discover that there is another family, well, the husband of the maid is living below the ground level, and he's just using he's the one that turns on and off the lights,
Yeah.
and when the point that they actually just can't tie him, and he start like using his head for just knocking against the wall, is like, that part is a bit more like, okay, it's comedy, but at the same time it's disturbing, and that's like pretty well into the movie. So it's a bit more like, okay, what is your genre? Just decide. And I remember like talking with Marcos when we watched it.
Amen.
I remember like just talking with Marcos when we finished watching it. That, look, I love this movie, but if I only watch the 31st minutes of this movie, I think that it's a comedy. if I watch only the last 5 minutes,
Yeah.
I think that is a Tarantino movie. Because so how can I qualify this? Who is this target to? So I think that there is something on his style that I like, but I understand that it's not for everyone because he's not a standard genre. He mixes the different genres in very small bursts.
So I haven't seen. How many films have I seen by him? So I saw.
Snowpiercer,
That's Bong Joon-Ho. I forgot that. I saw Snowpiercer. Failed.
Object,
No, I did not. I love Tilda Swinton, and I can't get myself to watch that. Uh, Tokyo,
true. The Host,
The Host. That's the other one. That's all I've seen of Bong Joon-Ho.
yeah. Oh, you didn't watch Mother?
No.
Yeah. I think that Mother is good. I think that you may like it. I think that it's a smaller kind of movie. There are not so many characters. And it gets a bit weird, but there is not too much comedy to it. I mean, there are a couple of comedy gags towards the beginning, like a small visual comedy at the beginning, but that's basically it. Everything else is drama. Drama slash thriller.
Well, maybe I'll check it out in 3 months because I reached my Bong Joon-Ho quota for the quarantine.
No, that's fair. How many other Bong Joon-ho movies did you watch during the quarantine?
Tokyo?
No, that was before the quarantine.
Damn it.
We talk about The Lone Star. It was our second movie.
Oh, I guess it's not Bong Joon-Ho. It was Korean movies.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. If you want to say Korean, that's fair. I understand it. I mean, Burning also burned me out.
God, that was a good movie.
It wasn't. So overall, I really liked it. I think that I would recommend it to anyone. Is like if they ask me, is like, what is the best movies that you recommend from Bong Joon-ho? I would say Parasite, Mother, and this.
In that order? You
I
like
would
Mother more than
say,
this?
yeah, I think that I like Mother more because it has like a couple of things that they are disturbing. That they are like everything is like really beautifully shot, beautifully disturbing shot. And there are like some parallels with this movie. I don't want to spoil it as you haven't watched it, but there are like some parallels between both of them.
I know the basic premise, which I got a little nervous when they accused that intellectually
Challenge.
challenged kid. I was like, oh shit, is that what this is? But then I quickly moved on from that.
Yeah. So yeah, that and basically it's the mother investigating the case by herself to trying to figure out what happened.
So I have my score picked out.
You have? Okay. What is your score?
7.5.
Okay, that's good. So my score is an 8. I'm surprised because with what you told me, I felt like you were not completely a fan of it.
I know, and that's why I said, I know I'm calling out the things I didn't like, but that was like 10, 15, 20% of the movie, the things that I didn't like, and the rest
Yeah.
I thought was brilliant. I thought it was so good. And I mean, you can see how he's matured from that point. That was 18 years ago.
Yeah.
But you still see the flashes of brilliance. And when you saw those, it was so worth it. I was so engaged with the movie.
Do you like the last scene where he's talking with the main guy, he's talking with the girl? The last scene that he's checking the gutter again, like
Oh,
passing
yes.
by.
I
Yeah.
loved it, except, again, they show him as a caricature of a character. It's like a joke of a person who's talking on a phone in a van full of, as seen on TV, goods that he's going around and selling. And I thought, just give us a real well-rounded character instead of this joke of a human being. And then it goes into that scene that's super touching with that girl. And you're like, wow, this is amazing. The scene that's shot in the van is a piece of shit.
But don't you think that is like maybe there is the need? Is like maybe Bong Joon-ho is a bit more of a director of contrast. You know, is that that's his tool, that's his main tool. About like going to be like making something really tense or something really dramatic, and suddenly they just throw like some comedy at you that doesn't belong in there, and like he's just throwing at you this guy that is a he's not important. He's a if that person really existed in real life, is like he couldn't be a PI. I mean, well, not a PI, he wouldn't be a detective. He doesn't have any kind of smarts. Even the girl that helps out in the office, she's significantly smarter than the
She
rest of
didn't
the group.
help out in the office. She was a detective
She
who
was
was
a
required to
detective.
serve them tea.
Exactly. But like, she, that is like completely, I don't know, like, how do you say, like, just disgraced by the rest of the group. Even her boss is like, she's significantly smarter than all of them, but it's like they're disregarding her the whole time. Even the guy from Seoul is like, I'm going to be ignoring everything that is happening around me.
That's because women are lesser, according to this movie.
According to the society, I mean, I don't know if it's according to this movie, because I don't see that in Parasite or Mother. But I think that it's a bit more like, look, are the 80s in South Korea, and that this woman is basically the only role of this woman in the police force is
You don't
bringing
see
tea.
that in Parasite. All those women did was prepare meals. That's all they do. They don't have anything in his movies. They are not real characters. He is I'm sorry, I can't think of his name, but we love to hate him from Social Network.
David Fincher?
No. The writer.
Because I love
Aaron
to love
Sorkin.
him. Aaron Sorkin, yeah. Okay.
Bong Joon-Ho is the Aaron Sorkin of South Korea.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't, man. No, I don't accept that. I don't accept that.
In the fact that he dismisses women as real people.
Do you think? I don't know, man. I mean, just watch Mother, because in Mother, the mother herself, she's not dismissed in any kind of way. She's like one of the smartest characters in the whole movie.
Does she do flying kicks from out of shot?
Like the mother coming out flying from one side to another, the 60-year-old mother. No, I'm surprised, man. I mean, I'm happy that at least we didn't fully agree on the how we look at this movie.
Like Burning and Clueless.
I haven't watched Clueless, but
it's coming soon. we had a listener request that we discuss Frozen, so neither of us have seen it.
I have seen it, but I will watch it again if that's what you want. Yeah, if that's what you want, I will watch it again.
Oh,
I will watch anything. I will watch anything with Idina Menzel. I'm that gay.
You are that gay.
Yeah. So, do you want us to watch Frozen?
No, well, maybe at some point, but I want you to watch Clueless. I want you to watch Bring It On. I need you to watch those movies. I have like 17 Ingmar Bergman films that I want you to see before Frozen.
Before Frozen. Okay, no, that's fair. I already know what I'm going to be picking up for my next one, but do you know
Tell me.
Oh, no, I'm not yet. Because you complained the other day that we haven't watched too many American films lately.
Oh, thank God. I'm so tired of subtitles. I'm just joking.
I know. But I actually pick a English-speaking movie.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
So, do you watch? Sorry, do you know what you want to watch?
I do. We're going to go to the other side of the world. Back to Scandinavia.
Again.
To the land of Lars von Trier. We're going to watch a Danish film.
Oh, okay.
And so, as we watch movies, I think we've kind of established that we watch 80% new movies and 20% movies that one of us has seen in the past and we want to revisit again. So this is a movie that I saw when it came out, and I think in 2008. And I remember thinking it was completely amazing. I don't remember a single thing from the plot, but I felt the need to, what is the word? To make up for last time. To make up for Headhunters.
You're trying to just clean up the Scandinavian name.
I'm going to prove that Scandinavia is as fucked up as I want it to be, but they can make good cinema.
Okay, what is the name of the movie?
So the movie is called Terribly Happy. In Danish, it's called Frygtelig Lykkelig.
Terribly Happy movie. Terribly Happy. So this is a 2010 Henrik Ruben Gans.
So it came out in 2008 in Denmark. So I think I might have seen it at Sundance.
Sorry.
Back in the day when I used to go to film festivals instead of working at a dental insurance company.
Now you're giving too much information. No one cares. Honestly, no one cares.
Nobody cares. Yep. And I think it's 90 minutes, so.
Perfect. I appreciate that. Honestly, I appreciate it.
I would
because
love for you to pick a 90-minute film. Just one.
exactly what I'm checking. I'm sorry. The next one is 2 hours.
I actually downloaded Memories of Murder onto my tablet so I could cast it to my TV.
Mhm.
And the only other movie I have downloaded on my tablet is Celine Dion.
Diogo's body.
I was like, I need to delete this. This is 3 gigs of memory that could be used by better anyway, besides storing that movie.
Well, just think about your brain. You said you're never going to be able to delete that. So from the memorability perspective, that was a good movie.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, man. So that was fun. That was a good podcast, I think.
Yeah, we did good.
Yeah,
You're
we did
welcome,
good.
listeners.
Yeah, we are patting our backs right now. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Catch you next time.
Bye.
No, wash your hands tonight.
Wash your hands. Shelter in
Thank you.
place. Wear a mask.
See ya.